Okay, for the first one, we're going to look at our coefficients, treat them like the numbers we have always worked with. This is -2 times -8, which gives us a positive 16. Then we look at our variables. We have p to the 7th and p to the 3rd. So that's going to be p to the, and now what do we do with those exponents? If you're not sure, just think about what this really means. This means 7 p's being multiplied together. This is 3 more p's being multiplied together. So when we put them all together, we have 10 of them. So hopefully you remember that the rule is just to add those exponents. 7 plus 3 is 10. For b, again, I'm going to pull out these coefficients first and deal with them just like they always have been dealt with. 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 times -3 is a -30. A lot of you forgot that negative sign. And then we look at our variables. They all have the same base. We have x to the 2nd, so that's x times x, and another x to the 2nd, that's another x times x, and an x to the 2nd, that's another x times x. So very clearly you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x to the 6th power. Of course, the rule is you just add those exponents. We come over to C and we need to clean up the top first and then the bottom, and then we can simplify. So 2 times 3 is going to be 6 as my coefficient, and x is by itself, so that's x to the 1st power, and y to the 3rd times y to the 3rd is y to the 6th. And then on the bottom we have 3x to the 2nd, y to the 4th. Okay, so now we're going to clean these up. The coefficients here is 6 divided by 3, which is 2. Now we have x to the 1st on the top and an x to the 2nd on the bottom. We subtract those exponents, so we get x to the 1st power, and it winds up wherever the bigger exponent is, and in this case it's on the bottom, so that's going to be x to the 1st power on the bottom. And then finally we have y to the 6th divided by y to the 4th. We subtract those exponents, we get y to the 2nd, and it winds up wherever the bigger exponent is, which is on the top. You do not need to have this 1 on the bottom. You could just write an x if you wanted to. And I did want to point out one other thing. If you had said, oh, wait, I have a 3 on the top and a 3 on the bottom, I can cancel those out, that works perfectly fine. And that's how you would also wind up with just a plain old 2 as your coefficient. Okay, for D, we're going to have, let's see, x to the 3rd times another x to the 3rd is x to the 6th. And then we have y to the 3rd. And then on the bottom we have 4x to the 2nd. Okay, so we draw our fraction bar. We look at our coefficients, and 4 is the only coefficient. It's understood to be a 1 in front of here. You don't have to write it, but the 4 is just going to stay right where it is. So 4 is on the bottom. Now we look at our x to the 6th and x to the 2nd. We subtract those and get x to the 4th, and it stays on the top because that's where the bigger exponent is. And then y to the 3rd just stays right where it is because it has no other y's to go with. So that is your answer.